We have a serial number 480017, model 5B as in Baker, and I know that I was told that's not the model, but that's what's written on the bottom of this radio cabinet. So I have to go by what's on the radio cabinet. Now, on the back of the radio cabinet, it says serial number 0017. But as I just showed you, it's 480017, model 5B. Okay, now, down here, Air model 711-WN, and then in the parentheses, 4B. I think you can see that. Now, this is the clear schematic that I downloaded. Don't ask me where I got it from. I just happened to find it shortly after I got the radio. But it doesn't seem to, it comes in two halves here, but there's something missing in the center. Usually you can trim it down and overlap it and scotch tape them together. As if you look down here, and I think I'm off camera again. I can't see this viewfinder. Yeah, I'm off camera again. Story of my life. Alright, look at the legend down here. Okay, no matter how I overlap them, there's more in the middle here that's missing. Almost like a third page. But there's only page 1 and page 2. That's all there was. So I'm missing part of the circuitry. But I'm trying to show you something here. I'm reading it sideways. You got to remember I'm at a big disadvantage here. 6BJ6 is right here. Take my word for it, whether you can read it or not. That's a 6BJ6. Then we've got what looks like L13, 10.5, 10.7 rather, megacycle IF can. Okay, that's on the second page. Now there is a 6BJ6 on the left page, but usually there's a continuation of that on the right page, and there isn't. There's circuitry missing in the middle here. But this is the only schematic that is legible. The one from Radio Museum, which someone gave me, I cannot get anything from Radio Museum. It's useless. It's a totally useless site, as I said. And it was impossible to read. It was unreadable. This is pretty clear, but it's not complete. There's something that's missing. The part of the schematic is missing in the middle here. Not a lot of it, but some of it's missing. So I'm going to have to work with this. I was going to scotch tape these together. So, as far as I know, this should fit my ear radio. Alright, here's the 12DT8. So I think this is the correct schematic, because I remember reading somewhere, I think this came from the Antique Radio Forum, one of the postings. Come to think of it, that's where it came from. One of the links, somebody else wanted a schematic of this radio. And the guy that had it, he did not have the 12DT8 in his radio, as I recall, so this schematic did not apply to him. But I do have the 12DT8. That's the tube I have ordered for this. And let's get the radio up on the bench here, because otherwise we're going to be dragging on with a 2-hour part 1 of this radio, and I don't want that. So this radio has 7 tubes in it. I thought it had 8. 3 over here, 1 over here, that's 4, and 3 over here, that's 7. So 7 tubes. This is holding up good. The good old Duco cement really does a good job on that. Okay, so we have total of 7 tubes, and we seem to have that on the schematic, so I don't think we're missing all that much of the circuitry here. So looking at the left-hand portion of the print, we have a 12BA6, which is V1. We have a 12DT8, which is V2. We have a 6BJ6 as V4. Yeah, V2. That jumps to V4. Alright. And the other half of the 12DT8 is down here. Okay, so V2, half of the 12DT8 here and the other half over here, okay? So that's 1, 2, 3 tubes so far, and a 12BE6, which is V3 down here, and half of a 12AX7, which looks like V6, but I can't quite read that. Now, I know you can't see this good, and I'm not going to be dragging out the Sony because it's just too damn long rendering. Takes all day to render. 6BJ6 ends here, okay? There's a continuation of the plate, which has 100 volts on a pin 5. There's a lead coming off of the plate, which should continue on this schematic here. And my guess is it will go right there. So maybe we're not missing all that much. But as you can see, when they're printed out, they're not lined up. I have to read them and set them up like this, you know. So anyways, we've got, what, I lost count of how many tubes. Nothing new with me. We've got a 12AU6 as V5 right here. A 50EH5, which is V7, and the other half of V6, I think, the 12AX7, this is the second half of it over here. So my guess is, and we're not going to be wasting a lot of time trying to piece together the schematic, I think we can work with this. Now, this radio performs not too bad. It's not really all that sensitive on anything, but I don't have proper antenna on it, and the shop is so noisy with these switching wall-wart power supplies. Now, as I told you, I tightened up the tube sockets. They're the phenolic wafer, the cheap tube sockets. I tightened up all the pins on the bottom. This is all loose here, and the piece is broken out of here. So, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to test the ESR on this 20 microfarad 150 volt electrolytic right here. Larry was also discussing this resistor here. I will test that too and check it out. It uses ceramic disc primarily. There are no wax caps in here. I believe this is a resistor. I hope you can see this all right. I'll tell you, my videos are nowhere near as good as a lot of guys, as I keep saying. And it must be a real tough out there for you viewers to watch my videos, because I can't give you close-ups without having a humongous video file to render. So when I had my Kodak Play Touch, it did okay, but it was temperamental. But it gave me so many heartaches. It just stopped working and the screen went white on it. I hate those kind of cameras. And that's why I like the Kodak ZE-1. It's dependable. The focus don't go in and out on it. It's limited to close-ups, but at least you get a reliable video out of it. Okay, I'm checking the ESR of this. It's a 20 microfarad at 150. My chart shows 22 at 160, should be 1.6 ohms. So, put the blue ESR meter up here. Short the leads. Okay, we got the lead shorted, so we're set to 0. Okay. .3. So we're supposed to be 1.6 and we're 0.3. So that electrolytic is good. There's no point in changing it. Now that's another electrolytic. There is one on the chassis also, and this ESR meter claims to be in circuit. Okay, so 20. I don't like these. I don't like the graphs on this. This is what they call the blue ESR meter. I don't like the graphs on these. They're difficult to read. I never can read these things, so I have a chart that I go by. So 5 to 10 microfarads, let's see. I can't even make this out. I can't decipher this thing. So I disregard that. I use my chart on the wall over here. This one here. So it's showing a 22 microfarad, 1.6 at 160 volts. So we're under that. So that electrolytic is good. Okay, we got a 50 microfarad here, and we got a 50 microfarad here. Here's your rectifier. I think that says 130 milliamp rated rectifier, so it's got a solid state diode in here somewhere. I haven't spotted it yet, but I haven't really been looking in the chassis too good. So right at the moment I see two 50 microfarad capacitors, which are going to be in one can. Whether there's a third section or not in that can, that I don't know. I have not traced it out yet. Let's see what this one is down here. Yes, there's another one down here. 30 microfarad, and this is off of another diode. So that appears to be positive going to the chassis, the diode going the opposite direction to give you a negative voltage. So we should have negative 165 at this point right here. Okay, so we got three sections in there. So we got two 50s and a 30, and whether there's another one or not, I don't know. Let's see what we got. That's just small capacitors off the filament. So let me get into the bottom of the radio and see how many sections that is. Okay, there's 4 sections right here. See that? Right there, that's 4-section capacitor. So we should be able to check the ESR in circuit. The radio does not have a hum, it's nice and quiet. So I'm assuming the capacitor is good, but I'm going to put an ESR meter on it anyways. And I'm going to try to read the value because there's two 50 microfarad sections and a 30 microfarad section, but the fourth one I don't know. So let me, off camera, I got to get my face right in there with a magnifier. I can't make that out, but I see 40 and 40 at 150. The one above it, I can't make it out. It could be 30. Who knows? But it only shows 3 sections. I hope you can see that. I see 4 sections in that. But I'm only showing 3 values marked on the side of the electrolytic. That's a mystery. But that's original. That's never been changed. But the schematic says 50, 50, and 30. And I looked at it very close. So maybe Lucky Larry can take a peek at his if it's still out of the case and see what the values of his is. There could be a change. This radio could be a slightly different model. And for all I know, this schematic may not be for this radio. I don't know. But it's all I've got. I can't use anything else because it's unreadable. So, whatever values are in this radio and anything's off value will be replaced with that value, regardless of what the schematic says. That's the way I've always done it, because there are production changes, there's model numbers that are different, or whatever. So, I think what we're going to do now, we're stretching this video out. Shut my headlamp off here. I didn't shut it off. Thought I did. Okay. We're stretching this video out because we're going to jump on the Emerson 336 cabinet when I get the wax, which will be next week. And then we'll go back on, it'll be part 2. This is part 1. This is really more of a look over of the radio. The very last thing I may do is build a cabinet for it, but I'm not worried about that right at the moment. I've had this on, I'm pretty sure I had it on video. Like I say, there's virtually no hum at all, so the electrolytic is good, even though it's original. But as you hopefully could see, I only see 3 sections marked on the side of the electrolytic. Okay? Definitely original, never was touched. The original connections underneath. I know it's not a clear video, but that's the best I can do. Fortunately, we have the tube shields, because that's important. Like that Gonset radio was missing almost all of its tube shields. And tube shields are important. If a radio has to have them, they're supposed to be there. And a lot of times when these things are worked on, the tube shields never get replaced or stolen and, put into another radio or something. So I'm lucky to have tube shields. Every tube tests good except the 12DT8, like I said, which I think, not sure which one it is now, but anyways. So we're going to end this. This is more of a little going over. I will be testing components, but I'm going to do that off camera to save a lot of video time. And I'll give you the results on camera. So this concludes part 1 of the Air O-Ear radio model 711 WN 4B, like in Baker, or Model 5B. You have your choice. We'll continue on this. This concludes part 1. Thanks for watching.